Hi everyone, and welcome back to my inventory series on Unreal Engine 4. In this episode I'm going to go through the process of how to make it so that your items are usable in your inventory. Before we do that, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So someone suggested a way of fixing the issue of the mouse disappearing when you click off the screen. Now my fix was to make it so it just checks that it's focused all the time. There is a better way of doing it, so let's quickly go through that. Where was it? Inventory component. So for the inventory component, what you want to do instead is change it so when you do toggle inventory, at the end of here we're going to show the mouse cursor. So from the get player controller, just drag out here and go set show mouse cursor, and we're going to hook that up like so, and I'm going to tick the box. I'm going to copy that and put it at the end here of this line and untick it and hook it to the player controller again there. With that compiled, I'm going to go into the inventory UI, into my window, and get rid of what I'd done previously, which is this tick here. This seemed to work just fine when I was testing it earlier, so let's make sure it's compiled, play, and I can click out here. The mouse cursor doesn't disappear. It's quite neat and a lot more efficient. So yes, props to everyone that suggested that fix. That is much better. Okay, so on for today. So today's task is to take it so that when I pick up an item and I open my inventory, I want to right click on my inventory and use that item. Okay, we will then eventually get to the point where we go into a container and right click on here. Well, instead of using it, we'll transfer it into your inventory. So let's do the first one first. So this is accomplished in the inventory slot widget. So go to your inventory slot widget and open it up. Now this works by doing a right click test on the whole widget, and the way you do that is you go into your graph and you want to go to your functions on the left hand side. Instead of clicking the plus function, you want to go to the override drop down, and from there you'll see an on mouse button down. Okay, click on that one, and an override does what it says on the tin. It basically overrides this event that it's inheriting elsewhere and makes it so you can use it. So when the mouse button is down, it's listing out for it now, where previously it wasn't. So on the mouse event, we're going to check a couple of things. We're going to check, first of all, that we are right clicking and that there is actually something in the slot. So let's do that first. Let's go on the mouse event down here, and you want to go get, is it get key? No, get button. Oh, I can't remember now what it's called. Equals, no. Oh, let me go into my previous example and have a look, see. It is mouse button down. There we go. Is mouse button down. There you go. So on is mouse button down, you then choose which mouse button you want to check. So mouse right button, and that'll give you a boolean value, which then go into a branch. So this is going to test whether or not the right mouse button is being clicked. If it is being clicked, we want to do stuff. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is check whether or not we are in our player's inventory or in the other inventory. So we want to go into comparing the inventory of this slot. So drag out inventory, get, and we want to check whether or not that is the same as the player's inventory. So right click, get player character, and then from there get inventory. Nope. I have to do a cast to first person character. From there you can get inventory, and you want to check whether or not these are the same. So if the inventory of the slot matches the same inventory as the player, so let's just hook that up to there like so. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so we now have a boolean coming out of here, so we need a branch. and that can be plugged into the cast. So this is just checking that this is part of the inventory of our player. And so on the true is where we're going to do this code. So on the true, we are going to get access to the item inside the slot contents. So drag out your slot contents, get, and you want to right click on there and split it. And in there again, you want to split the item structure to get access to all of its stuff. So what we want to do is we want to spawn in the world this item so we can use it. Because at the moment it's just a abstract class. It's not anything. It's just a class that we are just doing nothing with. For us to be able to use its functions and use its code, we have to spawn a actor of it. So from the true, we go spawn actor from class. And the reason why we had to do this is so we can hook up the item class structure to it there. Now this will spawn it into the world, and if it has a static mesh on it, it will be visible. We don't want that to be the case, so on spawn transform, you'll see you can drag this out and you want to make transform, and from there you can just type in some values. So you want location to be 0, rotation to be 0, and scale to also be 0. Okay, that means it won't be visible because it'd be 0 scaled, but it is now in the world, so we can use it. Now, way I've worked it is if you go back into your content browser and go into see your items and open up the item parent, we are going to make a new function here. So click on the plus function and we're going to call it use item, and it's going to have an output of success, which is a boolean. So this will return true or false whether or not it was successful in using the item. Click compile, and that's all we're going to do for that. So go back to your inventory slot, and to this return value, after we spawn the actor, we can now call that use item function. This is really handy because that means that we can specify the use item function for every single item in the game, if it has one. If it doesn't, it will just spit out success. If it is successful, the next thing we want to check is whether or not the item was consumable. So we want to drag that out. I'm going to do a little reroute, and from there you want to make sure that is equal to this, so they're both true. Let's just hook that up the right way around. So if these are both true, we can delete it. If it's not true, then we won't delete it, it will stay in our inventory. So for example, if you've got like a talisman that is not consumable but you can use it, that may be the case where you use from false. But we're going to do the true. So on the true, we are then going to call the inventory and remove 1 from that inventory. So let's get that inventory out and get it. And with that inventory, you want to get the actual inventory array, and from there we're going to set an array element. And the array element, we set the index, it will be the same as the slot index, so drag the slot index into the index here, so we know we're accessing the correct slot. And the item we're going to change, so all we're changing here is the quantity, so just right click on the item and click split struct pin, and we can see the quantity here, and we want to just take 1 away from it. So to do that, we need to first of all get the quantity of that slot and then take 1 away from it. So I'm going to go into inventory again and get to the inventory array, and then from that array you want to type in get a copy, and you want to get the slot index as the index of the array. So this is doing the same job as this, but in this case we're just getting the value out. And I'm going to split this so I can see the quantity, and I'll take 1 away from it. Take away 1, and that now goes into item quantity. And that's basically it. So we're going to hook that up to return node and see this in action. So let's go see if we can test this out. Oh, apologies. For when you do an override, you need to make sure that you tell it that it's been handled or not handled. So on this return value, just drag out and type in handled. Okay, and that'll get rid of that warning. So for this to work, we're going to test it out. And as you can see, I've given myself a little health bar and hooked that up with the code. Hopefully you guys know how to do that. If not, I'll make another video on health bars at a later date. So on my item herb, if I open full blueprint editor, I should be able now to just access the use item function. Not cool. I want to access it. Click compile. No, where is it? Why is it not showing? Compiled. What have I forgotten? Let's have a look. Use item. Yeah, so oh yes, right, you have to override it. Sorry. Go into here. So in your item herb and functions, click on override, and you'll see yes, use item. Okay, and now I'll override that existing function in the parent. So that function there, you can see is the parent. It's spitting out success, and for that to continue to be successful, we want it to do something. So in this case, we want it to increase our health. So I'm going to get the player control character. And I'm going to cast that to the first person character, like so. Yes, unhook that. And from there, I want to then increase the health of the player. So health, and get health plus 0.1. Clamp max 1 min 0, and then I want to set health to there, to there. Oh, and the return value is the health there, and the target is there. So this is just getting the player character, accessing the health variable, increasing it by 0.1, make sure it's not above 1 or below 0, clamping it, and then resetting it back to the variable. And if that goes through all successfully, we're going to tick success and click compile. Now that means that I can do this for every single item. I can customize what the use for item function does. So all called the same function, but they all act very, very differently. So let's test this out. Click play. If I go pick up a herb, go to my inventory, if I right click on this, it should increase my health, which it does. Hey. Now you notice the picture doesn't update. I can still click on it. If I open it back up, you can see it's gone now. Now the reason why it does that is because we've already constructed the slots. All the code for the inventory window is on the construct. We need to tell it to refresh the slot contents as we are clicking on it. So that's the last bit we're going to do to this. So go back to your inventory UI and inventory slot, and we're going to make a function for this. So click on the plus function, and we're going to call it refresh slot. So every time we click on it, we're going to call this refresh slot function, which is going to update and make sure that we are using all the correct data and showing all the correct data. Okay, and let me just double check my working for this because I will forget it. Refresh slot. So first of all, we get the inventory particular slot that we have, and we're going to set it to the one that we've got in the player, and we want to make sure that it's actually got something in it. If it hasn't, we're going to make it blank. If it have, then we're not. So let's go into our one. So we're going to get our inventory reference, and then we're going to get our actual inventory array. So this is the array, the inventory that's on the player. Now this will be different now because of this. We already changed it here. We're going to go into refresh slot, which will then have the new inventory. This is what we're going to do is now update the slot contents here. So drag in your slot contents and choose set, and from the inventory we're going to choose get a copy, drag in your slot index, and hook that up to the slot contents. So now the slot contains the correct slot contents. we are now going to check whether or not we have something actually in it. If we don't, we need to wipe also the image and make sure that's all clear. So to do that, we are going to, how do we do that again? Let me go back in here. Oh yeah, cool. So we go in here, right click and split the slot contents to get the quantity. And we'll do less than or equals to 0. If it is less than 0 or equal to 0, meaning nothing's in it, we're going to set everything to blank. If it's not, then we're going to carry on as we are. So to set it as blank, the two things we're going to do is we're going to make sure the slot contents are completely clear, empty, and set the array to be completely clear and empty too. So because when you make the quantity of this 0, the item still exists, it's just set 0. So we need to make sure it's actually clear completely. So on here, we're going to go slot contents, set, drag that in, and leave it as is. Then get inventory array, and you want to set array element, and index is going to be the slot index, but the item you want to be blank. Okay, or you can hook that up to there, it doesn't really matter, but the main thing is that you've got it blank. Okay, and that all goes that down to the false line again, and reconnects back up to this set brush, because this is going to update the picture now. So we want to make sure that the picture we're showing is the correct picture. So if we've got nothing in it, it's blank. If we've got something in it, it shows the right one. So back over here, we've got to come off the false here, and we're going to go set brush. No, that ain't going to work. Go select, dragging your slot contents, right click, split, and split again to get the thumbnail. Set brush. No, what's going on there? Oh, sorry, item thumbnail. You want dragging item thumbnail, then from there set brush from texture, and the texture you want is another thumbnail, and that all hooks up to false and here. Okay, so it looks like that, and that will go to a return. Oh, okay, to complete the function, click compile, then go back to your on mouse button, and as I said, after the set array here, we're going to then refresh the slot. So drag in your refresh slot, hook that up to there, hook that up to there, click compile, go back into your game, got half a health, pick up a herb, right click, get health, disappears. And you can see it still disappeared. Can't right click, won't do nothing. I can pick up more, and you can see 3, 1, oh, why has that done that? Dum, dum, dum. So that's a bug. Let's test that out. What have I forgotten? 1, 2. Oh, we need to clear it. Okay. So when we right click on it, getting a right click, make sure the inventory is the same, spawning it, using it. Why has that not worked? Quantity -1. Only -1 though. Oh, slot item structure. We need that to be set here. So set item structure, that needs to come from here. Okay, so it goes there like so. Click compile, and go back to your game. There we go, that's better. Cool. Okay, so the last thing to do is to fix something that you can't actually see, and that is the spawning of these actors. So this actor is spawning, and we're using its item function, but it still exists after we've used it. So if we're going to go into the item herb, and what we want to do when it's successful, we want to destroy the item. Okay, so best way to do that is on the actual slice itself, because we've got a success coming out of here, and if it is successful, we want to destroy the item. So from the return value, little reroute it there. I'm going to go destroy actor, and I'm going to hook that up to that. Okay, and that will destroy the actor we have spawned, and that should do it. Okay, so in the next episode we'll do the false part of this, where we look at something that is not in our inventory and we want to shift it over to our inventory. Okay, so that'll be the next episode. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, queries, or want to know anything in particular, please leave a comment down below. And please subscribe for future episodes and future updates. We're almost at the end of the inventory series. There's probably 2 or 3 more episodes left. And before we move on to more, more surprises, hopefully people will enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.